Okay, so we have another interview right now, and honestly, this is one of my personal favorites. So right now we have tobiwan. Tobiwan?
Oh, okay.
Yes, yeah, that's you,
You said
not
personal
me.
favor. I thought you were waiting for OD Pixel. Oh,
No,
sorry.
oh man, no, but really. Okay, so if you guys aren't familiar, which I'm sure you are, tobiwan is probably the most iconic Dota casters or commentators that I'm aware of. I mean, you've been doing this for... Actually, speaking about it, if I'm not mistaken, and I might need you to confirm this, I believe your very first tournament, major LAN tournament was actually in Singapore.
It was in Singapore. It was in Suntec. It was for the World Cyber Games in 2005, doing the Singapore Nationals and the Asian Championships. And
right.
I knew absolutely nothing about Dota. I actually came because I wanted to cast the Call of Duty 4 competition that was here. And the group of casters that I was part of at the time got hired to do the event. And they were like, oh yeah, we promised WCG, we promised Rapture Gaming that we've got all the casters they'll need. And I'm like, all right, so who knows Dota? We hear it's a big game over there that maybe someone needs to know. And I'm like, I played like 3 pub games with a couple of my WoW mates, so I was the most qualified for it. That's how I actually cast Dota. If it actually wasn't for the Singaporean crowd, I don't think I probably would have got as hooked on esports as I did.
That's amazing. And I mean, relatively near Australia? It's relatively near Singapore? Relatively
near Australia. Like if you're on the West Coast, then maybe it's a 6.5 hour flight, but it was 9.5 hours from Brisbane.
That's true. Also, you are based in Brisbane?
No, I live in London now.
London. Oh, wow.
Yeah, so about 9-10 years ago, I moved from Australia and I moved to Germany and worked for a company called Freaks for You and founded Join Dota. And then about 2.5 years ago, I moved to England. So I lived in the Midlands and now I live in London.
Wow. So how has it been living in London now?
It's not nicer living in a country where I speak the language. I did not do well in Germany. I put on a lot of weight in Germany as well because I don't even know what all this stuff in the supermarket says. So I just went to the local takeaway store. Just I'll just have a Durham, thanks. I was I put on 25 kg, 30 kg when I was there. So I've managed to lose about 15 in the last year and a half though. So it's little increments of getting healthy again.
Well, I'm sure every single Dota fan in Singapore would welcome you to move to Singapore. Although, looking at me, I'm not so sure if you would be able to keep the weight down.
I know there's so much good food in Singapore, and my lovely lady loves the food in Asia, and she's kind of sad she couldn't be here in Singapore. Oh. But it was actually a short time when I almost moved to Singapore, and even recently, like a year ago, there was a potential to start a project here in Singapore, but. Didn't really happen, so but maybe in the future it will. I've got some plans to do some educational content. Actually teach a class in London for on-camera talent. People we have at the moment where people can fly to this place, and it's like student accommodation and a course all wrapped up in 1 week. The goal hopefully eventually is I maybe even teach something like that here in Southeast Asia.
That would be amazing, and actually leads to my next question. Coming from someone who is interested in casting. I've never done it before, but it's something that I would love to do or think about maybe in the future. Being a caster as established as yourself, what do you think one of the most important things to have, either trained or talent?
See, it's always funny when people ask that question because a lot of the time, you're able to learn or you're able to replicate what you see on a camera. So you can learn to be hyper. You could learn to be quirky. It's hard to learn to be an analyst. I think that's one of the hardest roles because it requires a level of understanding of a game and the level of intelligence to have that understanding of the game. That's why I've always relied on my co-casters because I don't have that level of intelligence. But for me, I always try and think of it now as there's so many people out there that try and be influencers, that try and be talent. What do you offer that's different? Why should you be a talent? It's not just because I have the drive, I have the motivation. That's a perspective of about 10 years ago. Now it's just so what do I do that's different to everyone else, and why do people want to listen to me? Why do people want to see my content?
So you mentioned that that was the case 10 years ago. So has the preferences changed, or has the standard improved, or is it something else?
It's a little bit of both. I think the standard's definitely gone up. I think there was already some good standards back then. It just wasn't as well known. But it's mainly the ease of access, ease of entry into the scene now. Anyone can be a streamer because, like, especially like in Dota, like everything's in Dota TV. So you just jump on, like, oh, do I have a hardware software barrier? No, you got like a half decent PC. You can throw XSplit on there and or OBS, and off you go. And you stream on Twitch. I'll even pay you money now to do that. Okay, so yeah, ease of access is definitely there. But while like in the early days, there's only a few of us, and hard work and dedication was paid off because we were the only ones providing content. Now anyone and everyone can provide content. I have a phone on me, I can provide content. So what is it that makes you set apart against the masses and hordes of people who are now like, I could be an influencer. I'm the hottest thing on TikTok now. Like you see a new platform, you jump on it, you try and be like one of the big first influencers, first movers, and really just try and make yourself useful. Like justify why people should watch your content and don't assume that they should.
That's amazing advice. Thank you very much. Well, speaking a bit more about this tournament, with possibly the longest name ever, One Esports Dota 2 World Pro Invitational.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe just call it WPI or something, or like
it's a good idea. That's a very good idea.
There's another acronym I got to learn, and I was like, at least all the best ones are only 3 long. So
that's true. Okay, but I actually wanted to ask in this tournament. When you're casting or commentating, now we've had the 7.23 patch, and now we're at E already in like a matter of weeks. Now, has it been really difficult to keep up as a caster or a commentator?
I think it's a lot harder for the analysts, but luckily, like people like Fogged and BSJ, they just have been ripping apart the patch, playing all of it, so they have a really good understanding of everything. I know I've learned a lot just with our talent conversations in the back room. But for a play-by-play, it's not as bad. Like knowing what an item does, knowing new abilities, like this isn't a difficult thing to catch up on. Understanding all the micro changes is a little bit of a thing. Like that's the only I think struggle I kind of had. And you do get taken out of your comfort zone because like the map's slightly different. Like I messed up today because I thought outpost at 5 for some stupid ass reason when it's at 10. So it's just little things like that can trip you up and just break the rhythm that you kind of got used to. But it's difficult, but hey, that's what we're paid to do, so we can't complain.
Okay, one last question before we end the interview. Now, I or my team, we actually intend to petition Valve to create a new neutral item. I just wanted to get your thoughts, and if maybe you would endorse it.
I've been petitioning them to do techies changes forever, and like then they did it, and then they messed it up. So sure, we can put something in there, and so they can mess it up for you. What have you got?
So it's actually a recipe, all right, which is a second upgrade. So you've got Magic Stick.
Wait, so this is a neutral item drop?
Neutral item drop.
Neutral item recipe drop.
Yeah, okay. That's right. So you've got Magic Stick. You've got Magic Wand, and now tobiwan.
I feel like this item is biased. I feel this item is totally biased, and tobiwan never does anything for Dota, so it would have to be the most useless item possible. Like you'd have to make it more useless than Holy Locket. Like, yeah. I don't know. I cannot get. No. I am a non-biased caster these days, so I do not endorse this item.
Oh man, I'm kind of disappointed. I was kind of hoping. Okay, but if we did get it to work, what do you think the stats would be?
What I don't know. Like, why would you want to combine a magic wand together? Like, potentially you can turn the wand into an amplifier. Like that would be kind of cool. So then you could actually like amplify audio damage.
Yeah, I was gonna say the tobiwan actually looks like a microphone.
Yeah. You can make a magic wand into a microphone potentially, or something like that.
I just wanted a name in.
It'd be like it'd be like a unique item for like people like Queen of Pain and Invoker, like Deafening Blast or Scream of Pain, like things like that, like audio based abilities.
All right, so no tobiwan.
No tobiwan. Let's not put more of me in this game.
All right, then I'll leave it there. Well, tobiwan, it's been an absolute honor. Thank you so much. Thank you.